Regulation is more like to keep regular, to make sure that there is commerce between Massachusetts and New Jersey, that kind of thing. So, because healthcare would be such a personal thing, it's not like one state giving healthcare to another state. It's more like between you and another person. It's not keeping regular commerce. I don't know any other way of saying this, but that's their justification for putting this bill across is the Commerce Clause, and I'd say it's unconstitutional. It's not common sense. It's not the way that the Constitution was used and or meant to be used. And let's put it this way: Massachusetts already has its own healthcare laws, and so Massachusetts could already Massachusetts already nullified it. If the federal government were to, pass such a thing, Massachusetts already nullified it. It does it already. So it doesn't make any sense. Each state should have the ability to make its own rules on this, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Healthcare will probably be nullified by a lot of states if it passes. So like I said, Thomas Woods, he wrote the book called Meltdown, and this is this. I don't know if you want to get this, but well, basically, Meltdown is a book that talks about, well, let's read the subtitle. Meltdown, a free market look at why the stock market collapsed, the economy tanked, and government bailouts will make things worse. And this talks mostly about, the bailouts and that kind of thing. But it's also talking about fiat money and the idea of printing money in order to bail a company out, and then they'll have to bail themselves out. So all they do is print more money. It's almost the same idea. And the Fed. When I put that, when I brought this book about, it's written by Ron Paul. Yeah, I mean, they basically almost say the same thing, just on different topics. This is specifically mostly about bailouts. Ending the Fed is the case to end the Fed, and both have to necessarily talk about inflation in order to talk about their points and make the case. So I really suggest you read this. Meltdown was written about a year ago because the bailouts started around September or October of 2008, and this was written in early 2009, so it's been about a year. I suggest you pick it up. Thomas Woods, he's one of the senior fellows at the Ludwig von Mises Institute, and I find a lot of his speeches on YouTube, and I should write down my playlist sometime. But in my channel on YouTube, I've listed a ton of playlists that basically they're all speeches made by Thomas Woods, Judge Napolitano, Ron Paul, G. Edward Griffin. I've got to write it down for you sometime. Anyway, yeah, you'll see that in the near future. Anyway, so when the economy tanked, there was this sense of urgency to bail out big banks because they're the source of everyday people's money. And there was a case made to me that we shouldn't have to bail out banks, but we do have to bail out banks. I'm like, okay, why would you say you have to do that? I don't want to tell you the person that I was talking about, but talking to. She says that we had to do it because the economy would have collapsed. Everybody would have been out of money. I'm like, well, how is that possible? Wouldn't the money have been in other places but not the banks? Because other banks, like let's say all the money that I have, there was no way that I would have lost all my money. Let's put it that way. Because FDIC insures it, which is strange in the first place, but the FDIC, insures up to $250,000 or something to that effect, and so I would have been able to grab all my money from wherever it was and put it into a different bank or keep it myself. So there's no, loss of money. It's just that the banks lost the money. So what? Let's put it this way. Let's say the banks collapsed. The loans would have been gone. I think that the people with loans at these banks would have been better off almost because they wouldn't have owed the money anymore. So basically the only people that got helped were the banks. It wasn't us as a person. I didn't benefit at all. And my case is that, let's say that the money was given to us specifically. Well, then we could spend it into the market. The economy would have been booming for a little bit longer, and then it would have tanked again, in my opinion, but it wouldn't have gone to the banks that needed it. You know what I'm saying? So the point is, just read this. It could help you understand the freedom perspective a little bit, and it cost me less than $30, which is awesome, and thank you, Tom Woods. And yeah, I don't want to know. Never mind. Okay. Anyway, on to a different topic. How much time do we have? Wow, it's only been 15 minutes? That's awesome. Okay. I'm flying. I always fly through this. Okay. So, everybody by now knows about the airport bomber guy thing, whatever, on Christmas or around Christmas or whatever. So, this guy was theoretically from what was it, Nigeria or some place in Africa or something, but he was in Yemen, and then he came over here, and he was helped on by some guy from India, and airport security was like gone or whatever, and somehow he got a bomb onto an airplane, and passengers actually, took him down, and everything's okay. That actually puts across my perspective very nicely. So we need more airport security. Are you sure about that? This is almost like the free market working in a way. You could kind of see that, like, let's say, the free market can, take care of depressions on its own, and like the one before the Great Depression, that one that lasted less than a year, lasted less than a year. The Great Depression, there was intervention by the government, and it went not so smoothly. It lasted for more than 8 years. I totally forget how long it went, but it lasted for the 30s, I believe, or the 20s or something.